How's it going, everyone? KingBlackToof here, welcome back. So in today's video we're going to see some games of a similar deck to which I've already played. However, one of the key components has changed. We now trying to use fog, which meant I had to change something else and restructure the deck around it. And really, before we go into that, I want to talk about fog archetype for monsters, where it is, what's wrong with it, why it seems to have been left in the dust, and I want to examine why that is and what are the issues around that and what could we do to sort of see this moving forward just a little bit more. So we're going to be looking at the fog archetype for monsters and whereabouts it is. Now when you use fog instead of frost, you gain access to different cards, but you also lose a lot of the good synergy that comes through with a frost deck. So this is the deck you'll see me play later on. We use 3 impenetrable fogs and we use a woodland spirit, and these are all the fog cards you can use. There are no others, like white frost doesn't exist. And one of the issues with this fog deck, one of the reasons it's not really viable, is that you don't really have any tutor cards for impenetrable fog. I mean, like, you don't have wild hunt hounds for the fog archetype. Now recently, very recently, we saw a lot of cards which were tutor cards for specific weathers get changed, so they can be a tutor card for all weathers. So one common thing is the herbalist for Skellige. This used to do rain only, but now can do any weather. Used to have Artuza adepts, which could only do frost, but now can do all weather. So the Wild Hunt Hound seems to have been left behind a little bit in the fact that it can only pull frost cards. Now thematically that would make total sense. Whether they have to bring in a fog card which can tutor fog, or whether they really expect you to play it from hand, because it feels like, you know, no thinning whatsoever. So that's something negative about this deck as well. Without the tutor cards, then we have no thinning, which means this deck just in general has less thinning. We do have foglets, but the way they work now is that really most of the time you probably still only want one in your deck. So there's one thinning over Wild Hunt because you use a foglet. Okay. So that's one of the main issues. You don't have access to white frost either, a fog representation of that anyway. So woodland spirit is the go-to one for this. So the next issue with monster fog deck is the ancient foglet. Now if you're building an archetype around the fog, then this card is part of the core set really. This guy was built for fog decks, but it's just never worth taking in any particular instance where fog is played. Even in the previous patches when fog was quite common, you'd never see this guy. Now this guy has been a victim of power creep, and there's a difference between power creep and inflation. We saw all the bronze across the board mostly get inflated recently with patches where their value has increased generally across the board, meaning that the gap between golds and silvers and bronzes is decreased, which is a good thing. It means that if you don't get a gold, then your bronze will, you know, do the job. That's a balance thing, and that's a good thing, I think. But power creep has happened to this guy because new cards have come out, or balances have happened, whereby statistically those other cards for different factions or archetypes are better than this card, and they serve the same role. So this is an 8 strength bronze that if there's a fog anywhere on the board at the start of your turn, you boost south by 1. Now I've got to just say, probably the positives about this card are that if there's a fog on the board and this guy's on the board, you don't have to do anything else and he will just gain value over time by himself. Okay, that's probably the positive about him. He's 8 strength, so you can't Alzor him out. No one really Alzors much, apart from Squirtle, but he's a little hard to remove, and when he's going, he will do it by himself, which might be the reason why it's only 1 strength. So for comparison reasons, the Farseer for Squirtle fills the same role as the Ancient Foglet. It's an engine card which produces more value over time. It's 8 strength bronze, so same base strength. It's hard to remove, and it has the ability, if a different ally or unit in your hand is boosted during your turn, boost south by 2 at the end of the turn. So although you do have to keep doing stuff to keep boosting this guy by 2, it's pretty easy to do. I mean, just play any special card and a Dolbuff Armor Protector in your hand will get boosted, which will activate this guy. You can boost something on the board, and this guy will get boosted a little bit more. Or if you've got a Dragoon on the board, or play a Hawk as support which buffs something in your hand, then this guy will go up. So this guy goes up fairly easily, and most commonly every turn. But it goes up by 2. whereas the Ancient Foglet only goes up by 1. Okay. Another example is the Imperial Brigade. Now this is a 6 strength bronze, so a little less base strength, but it will usually start its life on 8 or 10 because there's already spying units on the board. And whenever a spying enemy appears, boost south by 2, or boost south by 2 for any spying enemies when you first play him. So, you know, this serves the same role as an Ancient Foglet. It's probably a lot better because it boosts by 2 instead of 1, and you're playing spies and getting other cards at the same time. So you're still playing cards which activate this as a side product. Now, the Ancient Foglet's side product is obviously you play fog. You've got to make sure you keep 1 fog on the board. And that comes to a negative to do with the Ancient Foglet, is that you can't really stop this guy from being boosted, apart from killing him. If you can't kill him or lock him, you can't stop him. They'll play a spy or go up by 2. You know, you can kill the spies so any future ones don't get the buff, but you can't really stop this guy getting boosted. And the same with the Farseer. If he's got a Farseer on the board, if there's a Dragoon on the board, if you can't kill it, it'll boost him in hand, or if he plays a special card, it'll boost it in hand. You know, so you can't really stop them from doing their ability if you can't remove or lock the unit. Whereas the Ancient Foglet, you can clear the weather, and then he does nothing. And obviously, as a fog deck, you should have more weather. But remember, you've got limited sources. You've got three impenetrable fogs and a woodland spirit. And that's all you've got. So they're all the issues I have with the fog archetype. Where it's definitely a completely sort of like forgotten about archetype. But if CD Projekt Red want to make a fog archetype, then I've got some really cool ideas, and I hope you guys will share yours. First thing we need is some form of tutor card. I don't agree that the Wild Hunt Hound should play any weather deck, should be placed in any weather deck, because Wild Hunt has synergies with Frost, and you know it seemed weird him pulling a fog. So you need another tutor card. Next, the Foglet needs to change. This card at the minute, it doesn't benefit fog. It benefits any deck that is going to be playing fog. There's no reason to take 3. Taking more than 1 is also a risky business. So you could push yourself to 2, but there's no point playing this in a fog deck over another deck which plays fog. You know, if you just take Woodland Spirit in a deck, as we saw in the previous patch where Woodland Spirit was all over the place, you take a Foglet. There's no point putting 3 Foglets because I've only got like a certain amount of fog, and it's a risk, isn't it really? Now, if you would like to change the Foglet into the fog tutor card, that would be great. I think a great idea. You can keep its ability the same, okay, so that if you play more fogs, then you get 1 out of the graveyard, but also make it so it's a tutor card or something. 2 strength, you play it from hand, it plays a fog, and then you know, anytime you play a fog, if it's in the graveyard, it comes out, so you can get a small amount of, as you play more from the hand, right, and as the game progresses, when you play your second fog, the Foglet will come out and you've placed a new one from hand, so you've got 2 2s, and then when you play your third fog, the 2 from the graveyard come out, so you're not putting them all out instantly, but over time, when they go into the graveyard, they start coming out, while also being the tutor card for fog. Seems like a really good idea to me. So the next card is the Ancient Foglet. This needs to be brought up to par of other equal cards. And I don't really think it's just as simple as boosting by 2 like everything else does. Because this will do it automatically if there's a fog on the board. They can clear the fog, but they probably won't clear all the fog, especially if there's only 1 on the board. Maybe you could like increase by 1 for every fog that's on the board. So the more fogs you put on the opponent's side of the board, it goes up by 1, goes up by 2, goes up by 3. But it's super risky if they've got a clear sky, because that's pretty much all your fogs. Or, you know, you may have to tweak that. A couple of things you could do: test out how it would work with just increasing by 2, then test to see for each fog on the board how much it would increase, and you know, go from there. Just test some things, adapt its strengths and stuff like that. And you know, across the board, synergies with fog, we don't have any. Like there's no Wild Hunt Rider of fog, there's no Imlerith of fog or stuff like that, or Riders of fog. But one thing that I would say, and it's very important that CD Projekt Red takes heed of this if they're going to bring an archetype in of fog. It should not be the same as Frost, but with different cards. It should be unique. We can't just have a fog archetype which is the same as Frost, but with different cards. Now Frost is all about damaging enemies, killing them because it hits the lowest. You know, the synergies with like damaging enemies, increasing the damage and killing things off. We've got half Wild Hunt synergy, half Frost synergy. So fog needs to be different. So the first idea that comes to mind is fog makes things hard to see, makes things harder to kill, evasion is easier, that type of things. It should be stronger for things that live in fog and harder for things that are not normally in fog. It says it on the card actually. A good commander's dream, a bad one's horror. So obviously good commander would be the things that live in fog, woodland spirit, foglet, that type of thing. These should have an advantage when fog is on the board. So maybe you could have it something like when some of your foggy type of units are on the opposite row to where fog is placed, they take reduced damage or something. You know, they take 1 less damage every time they're hit. That will cause issues with things that only do 1 damage pings. But you know, just experiment with stuff like that. So you place a fog down on the opponent's melee, and it would benefit you to put these guys into the melee row because they would take less damage if they are hit. You know, so there are some issues. I haven't thought it all the way through, but something unique about the fog archetype over just damaging the opponent and killing them, because you're not going to be killing them with fog very often. Okay, so that is my wrap up of the fog archetype, where it is, you know, where it needs to go in my opinion. And I would like to just show you some games using the deck here that I built. I built it very quickly, you know. We basically adapted the Frost Eredin deck. That's why we've still got the She-Troll in there and stuff. But I just want to show you some games, you know, have a bit of fun. Just see if we can use the Ancient Foglets and see if, you know, how good they could be, because no one uses them. So thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to me. I'd love to hear your feedback on the fog archetype, any cool ideas you've got regarding that. And take care. I'll see you again very soon. Have a little look then. Fog for days. Fog for days. Alright, we'll try this. If I win this, you're going to send me nudes. Good stuff. Yeah, we've got Samurai. He goes first. That's the first. He goes first, which is the first road to victory. First step in the road to victory. Bollocks. We probably lose this. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, that's gonna be difficult. Oh, we put it on Chinese. Or Japanese. Samurai. Lose on purpose. I don't want those nudes. So I don't know. I mean, artifact compression is a good idea, but also I've got to move it out of weather. Already countered. How about you leave me alone? Oh, that's his only one. Yes, that is absolutely right. As soon as you make a new deck, always face your hard counter on the first game. Alright, sure. The Undertaker. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that if I actually had the Undertaker. Yeah, take it. I mean, Django Fett is the one that you're probably going to get. Hey, my man. Oh, premium. One of the first premiums we saw. Good news. Oh, clear weather woman. Oh, them in there. How'd they get in there? I don't think I'll use the Polish voices now. This is horrible. This is the worst. I like that. Crush on Crate boosted him. That's good. I like that. That's amazing. Yeah, he's going up quite high. You'd have an armor smith to get these up to really high value. This guy, there goes half my unit. No. If you use Stammer Fords on 3 walls, it only spawns 1 harpy. So he got in his graveyard again? I can't remember. I'm gonna fucking take it anyway. I have no strength. I have nothing. Shut the fuck up, man. Oh, that was horrible. Why did you have to face your counter on the first game? I'll give it one more shot. I mean, that hurt my very soul there. Harpies don't fit. They probably don't. I mean, I've got a blood curdling raw, or if someone uses weather against you. But yeah, they don't fit very well. But then they don't fit anywhere. I guess they fitted a consumed there, don't they? Matchup was terrible. Well, that also tells me the deck's terrible, because if there's a matchup which is terrible, then usually it means that your deck's not flexible enough to deal with it. But like I didn't have enough locks or artifact compressions and stuff like that, I suppose. That was no doubt Sigurdrifa he was holding. Let's try again. Don't want that. Don't want that. 50 billion fogs. Don't want that. 3 fogs. I love it. Consume Harpy, right? Yes. So you know, you have ran on a Harpy spawn hatchling thing, or on a woodland spirit dog, and you know it's all good. It's all good news. You got a problem with my hand? Nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this hand whatsoever. Be careful of your vest. Well, he does 7 damage, so. You're actually running ancient foglets. We thought we'd give it a shot. You know, see if we can win. Have I won this round, or let's have a look at strength? 12, yeah. I'd say so. How about if ancient foglets reset their strength when fog is cleared? Yeah, that would help. Yeah, that would be good. We won a round. I love it. Okay. We got some of these. We don't want any ancient foglets in hand. Get the fuck out of here. You. Okie dokie. Well, we could at least renew Gells. Can't we, boys and girls? Maybe triple mangonel, triple fire scorpion. Oh my god. Isn't that normal reveal? Like reveal control? Is that not already an established deck? I think it is. That's not a bad thing, wicked. I like to explore a little bit more though, but god, what the fuck, man? Got 2 left in the deck. Get out. Hey, my man. Or she man. Women are just like opposite men. Right, what we got? Is this an Elias deck by any chance? Right, so Woodland Spirit is arriving soon. Now, the real question is... Yeah, there's a question here. So the question is, I want to Blood Curdling Roar him so I can get Renew on him. Whereas, if I Blood Curdling Roar the Woodland Spirit dogs, I get Harpy. Artifact Compression could come up. Roach will come out. Anyway. So. I think we'll have to use Caretaker on one of these probably. Although they normally die to your vest, so I might as well use it on Hawker's support. My man! Yeah. Poland will purge this heresy. If you get Frightener in Woodland, that'll be awesome. Why is that? He's going to kill my Ancient Foglets, because they're going to be 8, and he's been buffing up his guys a bit. I believe they get buffed by 3, so they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at the minute. So... I'll just play that because the time's running out. But that's something we've got to worry. Alright, let's try. I'm sure it'll die. It's at the start of your turn, which is always unfortunate. Oh my god, really? I could probably wait, that's why. He'll probably wait, but can he wait twice? We've got to keep it going. There we go. Merry Christmas! Oh my god, these Christmas emotes. I love it. I need to get some... I've been thinking about getting someone to commission some emotes for me, I think. Because my emotes kind of suck a little bit. Some of them are good. But, you know, it'd be nice if they all had the same sort of theme. I hope that's not Morin. I think it is, because he looked at it like, why didn't that come up? This then. Your Eastern group. Okay. I don't have a way of stopping Morin. We could use that. It dies, then we redo it. Troll, not really. That's my game ender. I'm gonna do him and see what happens. Okay, so it's not Morin. All right. So that's probably gonna get removed, right? But it will force him to do it now. I think that'll force him to play one of those sword masters. Okay. It's fine. We got renewed for that. Which means we'll probably use Blood Curdling Raw now on the little baby things. Oh wow. So we use it on there, we'll get a harpy come out. This is good that he's stacking. I like it. Oh boy. Oh boy indeed. We could win this one. Unless that happens. 14, alright, that's going to be a huge swing, absolutely huge. This is hopefully going to be bigger. Fucking get you, mate! Oh, feels good. I think that's good enough. It depends if he's buffed up Toroville.